up, Kadahhood? Hey, what's up, Kadahhood? Wicked, wicked. What's up, Kadahhood? What's up, guys? I'm back on this channel. And I'm starting off strong. I'm actually going to tell you about the time I found out that I could no longer have kids at 25. And I know, you're thinking, Rachel, why do you look so cheerful about it? I've already accepted it. It is what it is. And so if you do not know who I am, hello, I'm Rachel. I already have 2 kids under 2. My oldest, Troy, he's 2, and my youngest is 1 year old, Aria. So let's get into the story. I always wanted 5 kids. 5. Always liked the number 5. I always wanted a huge family. So did EJ, my husband. And so that's what we were going for. We told each other whenever I got pregnant that we wouldn't stop. So we get 5, knock them out, and then, you know, just raise them until they're grown enough to take care of themselves. They will have fun and retire, and that was just always our plans. Well, after having Troy, which was not planned, by the way, but, you know, blessing anyways, we decided, you know, like, let's just take a break after him. You know, we're not there financially, but my pregnancy with him actually wasn't the best. I developed preeclampsia, and I gained weight really quickly. I swelled up a lot, and I had an emergency C-section, in turn had a blood transfusion, a hemorrhage, and I had blood pressure even after having him. So that was a little traumatizing for me, but I ended up getting pregnant again when he was 5 months old. And the pregnancy with my daughter was a little more smoother towards the end though, preeclampsia, and so I was shooting though for VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after a C-section, something I've always wanted to experience, having a vaginal birth, a water one to be specific. And with her, I actually ended up having contractions. So we were excited. We're like, ooh, this is happening naturally. Wow, this is something I always wanted to experience, contractions. Well, my contractions progressed in a very fast period. I ended up calling my nurse because I was in the hospital at this point, and I said, hey, my contractions are getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I had just got admitted to the hospital. So she checks me and realized that I'm having a rare case of tandem contractions. I think that's what it's called. It's when your contractions never end. So my contractions were back to back, and I didn't have a break. So Aria was under stress the entire time, and her heart rate was declining, which means she was on the verge of death. So we had to have an emergency C-section with her as well. It was so much of an emergency to the point where I didn't even get an epidural. There is no paperwork being signed, nothing. I just was put to sleep in seconds. Didn't know what happened. I didn't even see her till like later on that night or something. So from what I was told, they gave me blood pressure medication because my blood pressure after having her shot up really high. I'm asleep during this time, so I don't know, but they said that my blood pressure went up really high, and then they gave me medication to bring it back normal, but it ended up dropping like severely low to where I pretty much passed away. So they had to bring me back. I ended up suffering and getting a hemorrhage, and even after that my blood pressure was still really high, and I had to stay in the hospital for a long time. So that was my story with Aria. After those 2 experiences, right, back to back, I was like, oh, I'm done with kids. I'm done with kids. I was recommended not to have any more kids by my midwife, and I'm like, yes, I am done. Like, I am done. And that was just it. Like, I wasn't going to put myself in a situation to have another one because I already knew my deliveries weren't good. My pregnancies towards the end weren't good. Why think about it? Well, funny you ask, because the past 3 months I started having baby fever. Yeah, so like 3 months ago I started experiencing really intense baby fever. I was like, I want a baby, I want a baby, I want to be pregnant, I want a baby, I want a baby. And I started thinking, like, what if I just have one more, and then I have my tubes tied after this 3rd one? What if I just risk it all? Like, let me just have that one more baby. Long story short, I was over here asking EJ, my husband, hey, you want to shoot and go for a 3rd one? And he's like, no. But I was really serious about it. So I actually started doing some research, and I looked into contacting my doctor and everything just to see if there's any possibility that maybe, just maybe, I could have a third baby without having my preeclampsia and all that jazz. Well, turns out absolutely not. So here's the deal. I can't get pregnant again. I am fertile enough to where, you know, if it were to happen, I could get pregnant again. But I will not. Most likely, okay, because we don't know what can happen, but there's like a 80 to 90% chance that this time I wouldn't make it out alive. Here's why. Number one, the more you have C-sections, the more of a risk it is to your body. So doctors usually recommend that you have 3, your max, because every time you have one, the risk of death increases. So I already had 2 emergency C-sections to where my body wasn't even expecting surgery, and it just kind of sort of just happened. And so to add on a 3rd one, that's a risk right there. Number 2, I had preeclampsia with both kids, which is severe in pregnancy. With Troy, I had it really severe. The weight gain, the headaches, all of that played a major role. And then with Aria, I developed it as well. So to have 2 and then have a 3rd one, which most likely I will because I had it twice already, and that's a severe thing in pregnancy that can cause death. To add that with a 3rd C-section, that's another risk. I had a hemorrhage with Troy. I don't think I had one with Aria. No, I didn't, but I did have a hemorrhage with Troy, so another risk. I had extreme high blood pressure even after pregnancy with both kids because the preeclampsia was so severe, and that itself caused a lot of mental stress on me, and I had slight postpartum depression. I'm pretty sure of it now looking back on it with Troy, because the amount of medication I was on, it was ridiculous. So that's another thing, that all of the blood pressure, because if I had one, if I did the same thing a 3rd time, I'm pretty sure my preeclampsia would be back. I'm pretty sure I'd have to have the blood pressure even after. That's a whole nother thing. So another risk right there. You see what I'm saying? There's just a lot of risk. And then of course there's always C-section infection risk. It's just too much. It's just too much. My doctor really encouraged me not to have this 3rd baby, so we spoke about it, because I told her, I was like, yeah, I really want a 3rd baby, and I think that maybe I should give it a shot, and maybe if I space them out and wait maybe at least a year or 2, I can try. And she was like, Rachel, I love you, and I'm gonna tell you this advice as if you were my own daughter. Don't do it. Don't do it. She's like, the risk of C-section infections, having a 3rd C-section, preeclampsia, your deliveries are terrible, hemorrhage, all those blood transfusions you have to have. I had 2 with Aria. You're gonna put your body through that even more. It increases every time you get pregnant and deliver, and the 3rd time there's really not gonna be a return, most likely, especially because with Aria they did say that I pretty much passed away and they had to try to bring me back, so it was a nightmare. With that being said, I had a wake-up call, and I'm like, heck no, I'm not having a 3rd kid, because I don't want to have this baby just to leave him on earth without a mom, and EJ has to take care of all these 3 kids without me. But I will say it did bring me sadness, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't have no more kids. I'm so devastated. Yes, I already have 2, but just knowing that you can't really go for a 3rd because of the risk of, you know, not being around, it sucks. You know, it sucks, especially if you're a person that wants a lot of kids and you're told you can't have a lot of kids or whatever. So what I do to not feel so much sadness is just enjoy the kids that I have, and I remind myself, if I have this 3rd kid, if I want to put myself in danger, I won't be around for it. Another thing, people ask me too how I avoid not having a 3rd baby. So I'm looking into getting my tubes tied the non-surgical way. I already looked into it, and it seems pretty pretty decent. I don't know, I haven't watched videos on YouTube about it, so I'm gonna do that first. But there is a surgical C-section where they have to actually do a little mini surgery on you. If I would have known what I've known now, honestly, I probably would have got my tubes tied with Aria. But I'll probably do the non-surgical route. I think that's what I'm gonna go for, so that just there's no risk of trying to have a third baby. But yeah, that's my story, you guys. I really just wanted to put it out there and share it. It really made me look at pregnancy and delivery just a whole different way, really. I always sympathize with women who aren't able to have children or have a hard time getting pregnant, and you know, it's just sad. It really is. I'm just so happy that I was able to have kids nonetheless, but you know, things happen, right? So I just live my life being a teacher and teaching all these other kids too, which make me happy because I feel like they're my babies along with the kids I got. So anyways, that was my story. Let me know if you have any cool stories as well, or interesting ones, or sad ones. This one was pretty sad, but nonetheless, I am blessed. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.